to go on a quest to find. We had heard about healers, or a way to heal her.
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
So when last we played, you guys returned to your village after being sent on a quest by Arbano to the city to find a hospital and get some medicine because winter was approaching. And people tend to get sick in the winter, so it was imperative to make sure that the village's stocks were up to date and full. So you guys had gone into the city, you had killed some greenish-skinned, almost lizard-like demon wolf creatures.
It's Scarf.
Scarf? The dwarf?
Yep.
Yeah. You killed some demon wolf creatures. You had come across some bandits who you had shot, taken a handgun from them. You'd then climbed up on the building to rest. During the night, there had been a squad of... you had gone up on the building to rest. During the night, some motorcycle riding men had showed up. They were in some pretty heavy-duty armor with shotguns, like big semi-automatic riot shotguns and assault rifles and that sort of thing.
Yeah, like our meal.
They became not really a meal, but a plaything for the big six-tentacled beast that had been roaming around the streets. They later climbed up and tried to attack you guys, and Emil, who was the driver at that point, got pretty badly savaged and lost some mobility in his left leg, I believe, after that. You guys had gotten a Dragunov sniper rifle. It's amazing I remember so much of this. You had gone a little further. You'd encountered some more bandits. You had kind of captured them. I don't know if you quite so much captured them as came across each other with guns and decided to talk this time because they didn't actually want to shoot because they were outnumbered. They were smart. You guys had talked to them, you had just kind of chit-chatted with them, and then eventually you had learned that they were holed up in the hospital. So you had gone there, you had tried to do a prisoner exchange, you had learned that these two bandits were actually deserters. Firefight began because they decided to shoot the deserters and you guys, because, you guys had fought your way inside eventually. You killed about 24 people. Eventually you came across the leader of the bandits, and you had defeated her, and Alexi had crippled her, and eventually, I believe at one point you guys started using the 50 cal gun on one of the trucks, and that summoned a worm creature from underneath the ground to attack, which it did. Antonov blew its head off with an RPG, and after that, you guys left. You didn't fully clear the hospital, but you pretty much subdued it. Anyone who was left was hiding very well.
And then we went to the medical storage and just took everything.
Yeah. So you guys took all the drugs, you put them in the truck, drove off. You had gone and dealt with the pack after running into their traps. They had some road spikes, that sort of thing. They'd had some tripwires that unleashed some caged, very starved demon dogs. They didn't really care to feed them because they'll make them more savage and the world could use less of them anyway. You guys had been attacked by those. You'd fought your way, kind of outflanked and bypassed some landmines. You'd gone to an old office building, and in the office floor you'd fought the pack. It was quite a firefight that quickly turned into close quarters melee, which didn't end very well. And then after you guys had finished them off, the girl Rivet had woken up, very distraught, obviously. Eventually, you guys had brought her to the... Well, you guys had gone further through the city, because I believe your vehicle was disabled at that point.
Yep.
You had run into a Wendigo creature, which is just basically a hooded... It was almost like a Star Wars Jawa. It was just kind of a hooded brown cloak that had a handgun, and I think it had a knife or something like that, to that degree. Definitely supernaturally animated, but you had killed it in one shot. You would come across Gregory and Oliver, who were members of a little community that was holed up nearby in a street intersection. When you had met them, or when you'd gone back with them, you met Josephine, the leader of their sort of group. And before long, you learned that they were trying to make contact with some kind of entity that they worshipped as a god. And they believed that anybody who was killed or attacked or whatever was going to be chosen And as a result, they really refused to help anybody in any sort of dire circumstance because they believed they were being chosen. This led to them letting a little girl that wandered outside the wall get killed by wolves, and that was when you realized that these people were kind of sick in the head. Or at least just brainwashed. So, also at that point, Rivet, the girl, had revealed some abilities that she had, mind reading and that sort of thing, and sort of semi-clairvoyant powers, to Ivan at least. I don't know if you told everybody else about them. She had some degree of mental capabilities, and she really did not want you guys to bring her to the... I mean, she really didn't want to be in you guys' captivity anyway, but she really did not want to be brought to the cult because the cult had been hunting for her, apparently, so she said.
Right. So that's how we met the other psychic lady.
Yeah, and then once they started to try to stop us, I fired a bear caliber.
Yeah. There was a confrontation in the subway because they were offering a guide to lead you out a safe way through the subway tunnels, and in return they wanted to keep Rivet with them for...
culty things.
Yeah, and they didn't sound like good things, according to her at least. So, you guys decided no, that wasn't going to happen. You shot the 3 guards that were down there with you. I think there might have been, there's somewhere between 3 and 6 guards. An assortment of
That
guards.
sounds like us.
Yeah. And Josephine had her leg blown off with a .50 caliber sniper rifle, or maybe it was the shotgun, I don't know. I think you guys have the shotgun, the gigantic, like, signal horn, or signal flare firing shotgun, or what it's meant to be, but it's just a giant shotgun.
Anything.
It's an 8-gauge shotgun, so it's big. So you had that.
I fired a bear caliber through her leg.
Yeah. So she was left bleeding out, probably almost certainly dead. And then you guys had fled down the tunnel, and you had encountered a lot more of the demon wolves, including some alpha ones that were quite large, about the size of a car. Fortunately, you had come across the path of a strange subway dweller with 2 submachine guns who
Right.
helped you escape, and then made a last stand, holding off about a dozen of them. I think he blew himself up with grenades.
Crazy dad.
Yeah.
Dad.
After that, you made it out of a. After that, the tunnels turned into the metropolitan area part of the train. So it was an above ground train at that point. You just followed the rails. You eventually found a car. Got everyone in the back. You managed to hotwire it in, and started driving back to your home. Along the way, you spotted a truck and a few motorcycles heading toward your village. Apparently, somehow, the bandits in the hospital had found out where you lived, and had decided to mount a revenge attack for their destruction of their group, mostly.
I think I tried to give her back at that point.
I think you might have, but it was at 50 miles an hour, and there was a lot of gunfire, so communication was difficult.
Hey! Take her back!
Yeah.
Fine!
At one point, somebody did climb onto a motorcycle. I believe Alexi. It was either. I think it was Emil.
No, I
Emil
think
was
somebody
driving.
opened the van door into a motorcycle to knock it off horse.
Yeah. Somebody. You were on a motorcycle at one point because you rode by and chopped the last guy's head off.
That sounds like it.
Yeah. And you guys had stopped not that far from your village. The truck, which had been they had quite an armory, and it looked like a lot of it had been loaded into the truck for a basically maybe not a suicide bomb, but a truck bomb, basically, to blow up and cause as much damage as possible. There was also a bunch of guns in there. The last guy had refused to come out and surrender, so I think you guys had shot him.
Sounds like us.
Yeah. And after that, you made it back to your village.
While looking at the character, what my character has on your index card is this character's actually pretty badass.
Yeah. No, Anna did some impressive stuff while we were... I mean, he picked off quite a few guys he killed the giant worm with this RPG headshot. Always does the job. Unless it's like Godzilla.
Like Antonov is the shooting to Ivan's melee.
Yeah.
You know, good.
And then you've got Alexi, who's kind of like a mix of the two.
She has a knife in one hand and a gun in the other.
Yeah.
you've got like D8 for both, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I've got D10 shooting and D6 fighting. I think you have D10 fighting and D6 shooting.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's.
There you go. So after that,
I
you
don't know what guns
returned.
I had.
You'd given the medicine. You had an AK-47. You had an SKS rifle. You had. I know you had a Makarov pistol, at least one. I think you had two. And
I had a P90, I think, but I traded that in with the place.
yeah.
You know what? You can tell me what guns I have. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm in town, and all access guns are
Yeah.
like if you want to like, if I'm in town, I'm probably going to unload. Yeah.
Yeah. And the town was pretty small. It was about like 50 to 70 people living there. It was based around an old radio station, so there's a radio tower there, which really didn't, do much anymore. I mean, it was still functional. There just aren't a whole lot of other people out there to communicate with, and also it's really more broadcast than. So I think I gave it 30, 61, 20, and then
I
this is.
think they were planning on trying to ransom me back to the pack. Or something.
Well,
They were
so
holding me captive or something, I just cannot remember what it was.
you were never really told why you were held captive. What's the weight of an AK-47? Like 10 pounds, right? Yeah. I don't know what an SKS weighs. I'll look it up on Wikipedia later. Probably 9 pounds. And you'd just been kind of captured and held there. And they didn't, like, terribly treat you, but I believe you kind of came across one of their patrols and...
Vengeful.
Yeah.
Vengeful happened.
Yeah.
Minor slight, bro, back and forth.
Well, it was someone in their territory. Like, they shot at you guys because either they didn't want to take any chances or they thought you might have something worth having.
I was very clearly just a kid moving through a town.
Yeah. You knew that Rivet was the leader of the group, but you never actually met her. She hadn't actually talked to you. They didn't really interrogate you either. They just left you there, fed you.
Yeah, I was always really stingy with my guns too.
Yeah.
Which turned out in my favor when the actual big fight happened because I still had ammo and everyone else was low.
Yeah.
Ammo.
Yeah.
Swords don't run out of ammo.
No, they don't, which is why I have to be careful.
So you'd given the medicine back to Maria. She had thanked you. She had taken a look at Rivet and basically said that she has a pretty severe infection that is slowly killing her.
Amputate her entire lower half.
Yeah. So basically, it's like, well, it would require, in her words, a miracle to save her of some kind.
Somebody asked for a miracle.
But she was happy to get the medicine. She hadn't really asked any questions about how or who she was. I think you just told her that you just found her so far, but we didn't do a whole lot.
False.
Yeah. So, anyway, she is very grateful for the medicine, and obviously, if you guys get sick,
What about the little minor sighted girl? Didn't we bring her back too?
yes, that was the person you brought back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she's the one that's injured?
Yes. Yeah. Josephine is the one that got shot in the leg and is dead, probably, almost certainly.
50 cal shot.
Rivet
She's
is the
dead.
person that you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Because I thought the one we kept the psychic magical.
I think you were trying to drag her along with you, and then I said that she's gonna be heavy and she's gonna slow you down because like a person. So then you're like, yeah, I'll just drop her and leave her. I think you dragged her about 100 feet into the tunnel to be away from potential medical help, and then left her. So
Sounds right.
Also,
yeah, yeah.
So
So
she's returning as a returning villain.
maybe,
No.
but probably not.
Please.
I don't know.
She's
There's
just dead.
when you go down, there's a vigor.
I'm gonna cut off your other leg!
Yeah. Yeah. So most likely dead.
She shows over the top of a hill and just pulling the barrel and just fire one through her other leg.
If not dead, extremely incapacitated. Oh, you also definitely killed either Gregory or Oliver, one of the ones that had basically held you back and tried to prevent you from saving the young child that wandered outside the walls.
Sounds like me.
Well, he does. They kind of. I mean, you can quibble about whether or not they deserved it, but from your point of view, yeah, they deserved
I
it.
don't care if they deserved it or not. They slighted me.
I mean,
Vengeful.
They had stairs.
that's you though. I don't think he minds the stairs. I don't remember them actually slighting you in any way. The Gregory
I
and all
wanted
of
to
it.
help the little girl.
Oh yeah,
They stopped me.
yeah.
They slighted me.
Okay, that's one way to look at it. I think Antonov had more of a moral outrage
Fine,
to it.
I was
but,
gonna start
yeah.
killing people. I was gonna start kneecapping them. Happy?
I mean, you
The
did.
good book is rather unclear on the subject of kneecaps.
Yeah.
I mean, Antonov is a moral person, but he's so heavily screwed up by his fear of stairs and the fact that everything is so bad that,
Yeah.
given his accompaniments, I mean, he likes helping people and repairing things
Yeah.
and avoiding stairs.
So,
But you knew that you're probably familiar with religions, and that's not a religion that you want to be supportive of. There's not really ones that.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
aware of them.
Yeah.
I think it'd be funny if Antonov actually got something actually different.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a Firefly
I
thing.
could see him as a devout man of God almost, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be actually about Man of God. He just doesn't ever come up.
Yeah.
Because it's like, God is not quite necessarily forsaking us, but it's a rough time.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I need to unload.
So the chill of winter is slowly beginning to settle on your
Oh, I forgot to write
isolated,
down that I still have a toolbox.
isolated town. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Isolated town, the radio tower sitting there as a.
I'm probably sitting up on the radio towers, making sure it still works.
It works somewhat. They don't use it very much because it's rare that they can really get power for it. Yeah, or a signal anyway. So once in a while they'll check, they'll turn it on. It can be activated, it's just not normally turned on.
Now that I've helped save the town, I am welcomed with open arms.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know how you explained everything to. I don't know if we actually had that, but
No.
We never got
after
to
a point,
we never got to the explanations.
yeah. After you guys have rested a little bit, Maria says that Arbana will probably want to speak to you maybe for a little bit. Well, all of you. I don't really know who you are or her, but he probably would like to know how your trip went.
Swimmingly.
But you got the medicine, and that's what I care about the most.
Let's see. Bandits, evil cults, more bandits,
Weird ghost things.
ghosts and monstrous things.
This is why I stay in the village.
Very much so.
The Barrett 50 cal works very well in those things.
We found a rocket launcher. We shot it at one of the thing
I'm
noodles.
just working on
Oh.
turning one of the Barrett 50 cal rounds into a necklace.
Yeah. That would be fun to do. Well, that
Or
sounds
after emptying the gunpowder.
yeah. Yeah, that would be the smart. Yeah.
Spark.
That sounds much too exciting for me. Well, I'm sure my husband would like to hear of it. Those are always his sorts of tales.
How old was I? I didn't have young. So
You were like, I think you're like 18 or 19. You were like a young adult. Very young adult. Of course, now when you're 14, you're a young adult, so what do I know? Yeah. So anyway. So, you can go speak to him if you want to, or...
I do,
whatever.
because I am
maybe I was like 6.
somewhat just, and I live here, and I'm on good terms with him.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are all on good terms with him.
We might as well go talk to him.
Okay.
And we have 15 XP, right?
Yes. I mean, I'll look up the exact amount and let you guys know, but yeah, I think you were 3 advances at least.
Behold! Norman!
Rest in peace. So you go to, you go into Arbana's office, which is kind of homey little room in the back part of the radio station. It's relatively cozy. He's got a few cameras lit. He's got a shelf full of books. There's a rather weathered carpet on the floor to give a little bit of distraction from the pretty much concrete for walls, and scratched parts of where there was once wallpaper that's been torn down by time or previous scavenging from long ago. And he is sitting there. You remember him as you left him. He's about late 40s man, starting to bald, still very skinny, dark hair, dark eyes, which he looks up at you with as you enter. Ah, Ivan and Antonov, you've returned. And Emil probably would be with you, unless he's probably resting up. Yeah. Where is Emil? Is he...
Incapacitated at the moment.
Oh, I hope not badly.
Fairly badly.
I knew it was a bad idea to send people into the city, but we needed that medicine, and...
We got a replacement.
Oh. Who's this?
Alexei.
Oh. Nice to meet you, Alexei. How did you come across him?
It's a long story.
I think we were fighting other bandits,
Yes.
and he was fighting the bandits, and he seemed agreeable, and so we struck up a mutual truce for the duration of it.
Oh.
And things came along, and we came across a little girl, and we brought her here as part of our thing.
She's like 20, or I probably shouldn't have said girl, but she's like 20, early 20s.
But I don't remember her being big, though. She was a waif, even though she was...
Yeah, she was fairly small.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Not
Definitely an adult woman.
an adult, but...
Yeah. But no, she was not big by any means.
And so she was in our spot, so we brought her back here for safety purposes as part of our... We were going here anyways.
Oh. Makes sense. I suppose we could use more people here. Bad spot.
Yeah.
Well, tell me the whole story. I have time, and reaches down and pulls up wine if you wish.
We did actually finish intercepting the bandits that were on their way here, right?
Yes, you
Okay.
killed all of them. They're all dead. They're all dead.
Yeah, some of them came after the town.
Yes, I noticed that there was some commotion.
We didn't bring the truck all the way.
No,
With
I
a
think,
bomb in it?
no, I think it was left. I think you guys eventually did manage to
Disarm them.
disarm
I
it.
ended up disarming it along with our periscope.
Yeah, that was an interesting moment. So I was like, don't screw that up.
Bennies.
yeah, that's what they're for. Oh boy.
I sacrifice you all to the god light!
Yeah, that was an alternate scenario. Fortunately, there is not a god of light in this setting. Or god
If
named
there
light.
was, it wouldn't be so bad.
No,
Yeah.
he's not a god of light. He's
It's
a god of war named
Named
Light.
light, yeah. And you did create light for him, yeah. But anyway, so he pulls out some dusty glasses and sets them down, kind of blows in them to blow some of the dust out. Anyone else want wine?
Sure, I can drink.
Of course. He pours a glass for each of you,
I better not.
pushes them across.
Why not? What?
Never mind.
It's up to you whether or not you drink. I mean,
I'm going to drink because I'm not going anywhere the rest of the day.
yeah.
Ivan takes off his helmet, revealing his more or less permanently crazed expression.
Yeah. So he takes a sip and listens to you guys as you tell the story, and all that really matters is what details you leave in or leave out.
We found her like that.
Okay. What about the other cult? Do you tell him everything about that, or?
Yeah, we probably should. Yeah, yeah.
We tell him all the bad things we found.
Okay.
We tell him, like, not our doing. I'll just...
Pretty sure she shot at me first.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, combat was kind of joined, but yeah.
We tell him all...
Technically,
all the
they
ba-
shot
we-
first, yes.
We tell him about all the bad things we found. We tell about the girl. We tell him about, like, the cult and how that fiasco went down.
Yeah.
I think we omit how you injured someone.
She shot at me.
Was that the bandit lady?
Yes.
The bandit lady was the one that he crippled surgically after kicking her unconscious. The whatchamacallit, Josephine was the one that tried to hold on to Rivet to her use in ceremonies, and you guys had shot her. Well, Alexei shot her in the leg with the 50 cal.
To get to the fight.
Yeah.
So we downplay how the fight got instigated, but
Okay. All right.
we do not hide the fact that not a very nice person,
Who is?
the cult leader.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you left her for dead, then she should be dead. And it sounds like she deserved it. You tell her about them abandoning the child for the wolves, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like, hey, how about you don't do that, you creepies?
The end of the world has done some truly sick things to people's minds.
That it has.
They latch onto whatever beliefs will keep them going, and in our case, they're good beliefs, and in others' cases, they are more delusional, I suppose. Well, I'm glad you made it back safely.
And
Although,
successfully, because we got brought back to medicine.
what exactly are the extent of her and Emil's injuries?
Neil had a gash taken out of his leg. Slowed
Oh.
him down. That was later turning.
Oh, that is too bad. He was our best scout and rider. I mean, he was our only rider, really, and by that, our best scout.
He was a repairman.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, I'm a repairman, so that's not.
But he had really good repair, and well, but he can still repair things.
He can still repair things, but he was like a traveling repairman. Is what he was supposed to be.
Yeah. So
Is that driving? Yeah.
driving and repair, yeah.
Yeah.
He was too
I
big.
need to take up driving, because. Do you have driving?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I should pick up
I
my
can barely see over the dashboard, but yeah, I can drive.
Yeah.
Tiny person.
I was young, but not young enough to be young Hendrix.
Yeah. Well, that is a shame to hear. The girl's in a similar state?
Straight bullet.
Oh. Well,
Heavy sworn armor. I mean, I've got all that on my sheet now.
unrecoverable?
As far as we can tell.
Well, my wife will
Officially would
determine.
take a miracle to fix her.
Wow.
The infection's that bad.
That sounds like something my wife would say.
Infection's not a problem. It's no infection. There wasn't an infection.
Yes,
I don't think there was.
we just went over it.
Yeah.
Was there an infection?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And you didn't talk to her any further about it, but she basically said that it was something she'd need much stronger drugs to counteract. I mean, what you guys found was like antibiotics and but not something strong enough to deal with what was.
I mean, the fact that we have antibiotics at all, you have to dose them correctly anyways. Do
Yeah.
you even have any sort of dosing rules for that? Because we might actually fix those against ourselves.
Yeah, that is a concern. It's probably not prevalent. Well, yeah. It hasn't happened yet. But yeah, that's definitely a possibility. And they are careful. I mean, she is an actually trained doctor. They're both older, so they were alive for a little bit of before, kind of. So they were at least trained by real doctors. But anyway, so by this point he's drained his second glass of wine and set it down and said, well, we'll need all the strong legs and backs and arms we can get for preparing ourselves for winter, finding what little firewood there is around here so we don't have to resort to burning down the huts, gathering what we can for insulation for another winter, such as it is.
Should be some stuff to burn in those cars we don't need.
True.
They're always trying to pull building materials out of, well, buildings.
Well, there's not a lot of those around here besides, well,
Back in the city.
that'd be quite a haul.
And the bridge is broken.
Right.
There are forest nearby, but I don't think we have the gas to spare to haul significant enough
One of the
amounts
mules
back.
we should take him out to get the motorcycle.
I suppose.
I mean, if we have the van still,
Yeah.
Just get it.
Yeah, you guys do have a car, you have a couple functional motorcycles with what gas is in them.
because the mule's motorcycle had enough gas to get back.
Yeah,
So all we have to do is double ride it.
yeah.
But we need 2 people with riding. I don't have riding.
I do.
Yeah, but we need 2. One to drive. I mean,
Well, you got Emil and Alexei that could go out there and retrieve the motorcycle if you wished.
if nothing else, just to bring the gas in the motorcycle back.
Yeah. Yeah, because there wasn't a lot in there. Yeah, there was enough to go through like the whole city and then back. So there was like 3/4 of a tank of gas. The motorcycles themselves have
That was always fun. No, it stated they didn't have gas.
yeah.
Yeah.
The cars were the best part for weapons. Yeah. So yeah, each of the motorcycles got about half a tank of gas left because they were almost to there and they'd about had enough in there to get to where you guys were and back. While you were going over, I think you did, but I don't remember. You can roll smarts if you wish, each of you, because you all went over the bodies and you were all actually probably not Alexei, but Emil at least could.
Oh, what?
No, there you go.
5.
Surprising.
All right, so you both recognized one of the
Wait,
bandits.
Was that the 4 on the D6 or 4 on the D4?
D6 what?
I was wondering if you actually were getting a ace.
One of the bandits that was you found among the ones you killed was got a little bit of a beer gut. He's probably like in his late 30s, and he had a bandage wrapped around his shoulder and his stomach. And you recognized his face. You recognized him as one of the deserters that you brought with you back to. Who was, taken out pretty quickly in the gunfight. Maybe not dead, but had been incapacitated at least. And you guys had quickly left him behind. And upon seeing this, you can recall you did chat with him a little bit about your village, how it was a few miles outside of the city, or well, like 15 or so miles out of the city.
So them attacking us was our fault.
Well, you cleaned up your own mess, I would say. Certainly. I mean, you made a mess, but not as much as a bomb going off would have.
Yep.
So.
I thought we killed everybody who wanted to make a mess of everything.
Yeah. But he actually did pass his vigor roll to live. Like, that wasn't... He really did live. So, there's that mystery solved of how they found you. I couldn't remember if I said that last time.
Nope.
But anyway, the people from the village, so Arbano says, well, I guess until tomorrow then. Thanks for giving your report and for bringing back the medicine. And Alexei, I'm sure we'll be able to find a place for you.
I just need to figure out how to get enough firewood for winter.
What are you good with, Alexei?
Guns and knives.
Oh, more of those. Well, we could use another sentry, I suppose, if you've got a sharp enough eye. Although, I'm not much worried about anything besides the wolves coming out here, and even they aren't that much of an issue so far from the city.
And I'd be able to forage for some food.
Well, that would be helpful too. Anything we can find at this point. We should have enough for the winter, but you know how things go.
Oh, that's for the hurts.
Sometimes one spilled bowl of stew can be all it takes to leave someone hungry for a day.
Sleep in my truck.
So they start to... So he says, well, until later then, I will enjoy the rest of my wine.
Just quickly down my portion and put the helmet back on.
He just kind of leans back in his chair and starts looking down and grabs a book from nearby. And when you go back out, you can see people from the village walking out and picking through the bodies. You can see a young boy about 13 or so who you recognize as Dalkov, who's sort of a gopher for Arbano. He's not Arbano's son, but an orphaned boy who's just sort of his personal assistant and that sort of thing. But when he's not, he's sort of wandering about the village. and he's starting to pick through some of the stuff until an older woman nudges him and away from a loaded firearm laying on the ground near one of the bandits.
Pick it up, turn the safety on, put it back down.
Yeah.
I pick up the gun after you put it back down.
All right. So you got another AK-47. These guys have got plenty of magazines for guns. So at least for Makarovs and AKs, you can get probably a dozen or so extra magazines if you want them. Yeah. There is a blacksmith shop of sorts. I mean, it's kind of an outdoor sort of thing. It's a makeshift bellows that has been kind of lashed together, nailed together from various amounts of sheet metal and rock and that sort of thing. The whole village is okay. To what? Find.
Whetstone.
Okay.
Yeah, but those are airplane wings, I think.
Yeah.
Helicopter rotors.
Yeah. So there is the crashed helicopter about 300 feet from the edge of the village, where the children like to play, and where Ivan tore off parts of the rotors. Yeah.
Did
They
I
probably-
have a melee weapon? I don't remember.
I think you probably had a knife or something like that.
Why is my head so itchy? Can someone stop that?
I have no idea
Just cut it off.
why.
Buzz your head.
Could buzz my head off.
No.
Knife is D4, right?
Yeah, strength of the D4, yeah. Which, as we know, is the most deadly die type in the game.
Then this.
So they're beginning to pick through the.
So you have a D4.
Don't forget, when Ivan ends up interacting with people, he does have the outsider ignorance.
Yeah, because you used to be a raider, but you were kind
You
of
are
taken
like part raider, part lost child.
Yeah.
The Berserker helps.
I believe you were a child of the Raiders clan that this
Yes.
group wiped out,
Yes.
and then they took you in because they're like, well,
He's just a kid.
yeah, just a kid.
Just a
Yeah.
kid.
See, but when we actually go to bed, I don't actually sleep in the truck. I have a blanket and I sleep under the truck.
They'll never see me there. So
Yeah.
when people go to open the door, it's like, we will get you. And then I stab them in the kneecap.
Cats do that, and it doesn't end well for them sometimes, but okay.
Well, I gotta move the truck. I'm between the tires, so if they turn and if they start it, I'll wake up.
Yeah,
And then
What if they don't start it? They shift into neutral. Right?
and hopefully you wake up enough and get out from under the truck in time, but yeah.
Why sleep? You do you.
That was a Darwin Award. That was a guy who falls asleep behind a truck and got run over. I'm like, why?
my truck.
Yeah.
My hotwire.
Yeah.
So someone's just like, I'm moving this now. I'm stealing this truck. It won't end well for them.
So they're leaving the explosives in the truck, but they are bringing back there's even some like gasoline. It's not sure if it's still good for for fuel, for the engine's fuel tank, whatever, because it might have been watered down a bit or mixed with something else like soap shavings, for example, because they seem to be Molotov cocktails that they are bringing back. About half a dozen of them.
Hopefully head throwing.
Yeah.
I have never at tracking.
Yeah.
I want D4 skills.
Yeah. Well, it's good to start out with that and then build them up later. So, assuming you have good stats. So as they are bringing stuff back to the village, one of them, there's some sudden commotion from a little bit further down. And there's some guns being drawn and pointed at a bandit lying on the ground, and he's holding up his hand slightly.
I begin moving over to him.
Don't shoot. He looks to be like in his 20s or so, probably. He's got a big scar on his neck, which seems to be pretty old. And he looks up. His eyes narrow a little bit when he sees Alexei. How did you get here?
I walked. Cold.
Alright. I'm not reaching for anything. Just let me sit up.
Okay.
How did I
Just
fall?
Alexia, dude.
I mean, you can move it. You guys can move in if you want to. But okay. I mean, if you guys are rewatching this or something like that, at least. But
If I can from wherever I'm sharpening from, but
oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, You can carry the whetstone with you anyway. They're pretty small ones that they have, so, or that you can find.
What do you want?
Well, preferably not to be shot.
Angel.
He looks around. Alright. I admit we were coming here to attack you. But only because you killed us.
You captured me first.
I didn't really have a say in that.
Seems that nobody did.
Well, we kept anyone that we found wandering around. Rivet's order. She didn't want anyone that came into our territory to be allowed to leave.
Pack wasn't far behind. They would have wiped you out anyway.
Maybe.
I mean,
What's
given
the-
how well they
He
fare.
says, what's the pack?
I didn't even know.
Well, there was something she was always talking about. Some people that were after her. I heard her whispering to herself about it sometimes. But,
Yeah, we found them.
what? What do you mean you found them? How do you know?
Wiped them out.
He seems like he's having trouble processing, partly because he has a bit of a bruise on the side of his head, and he is quite beat up and covered in dirt because he seems to have fallen out of either the truck or one of the cars.
No, he's the guy we hit in the door with a motorcycle.
That might be, yeah.
Yeah, because so he is just he probably caterwauled, but since he didn't get the door being slammed into him is not enough to kill him, and being knocked off that's not necessarily enough to kill him.
Definitely enough to put him out of the fight for a while.
But yeah, that's true.
So you're telling me the whole reason we captured you, more than likely at least, that's gone now?
Yep.
Well, I'm sorry we held on to you for so long then. I didn't have any problem with you. But we didn't get very far with people just wandering into our area.
Any of you have a radio?
Any of us?
A radio tower over there, I point to it.
No, we didn't have a radio.
There might be one.
I don't follow.
Lexi had sent out a radio call just on the open air. Just going like, come get your leader.
Oh. Okay.
No one responded.
Yeah.
Because we didn't actually directly kill her, did we?
No, that's Rivet.
Listen.
She did.
Listen. That other guy. I don't even remember his name now. He told us how to find you. Said that you guys had talked to him. Really, you shouldn't be going around with such loose lips. No offense, but I think she was a better at security than you guys are.
Wasn't me.
Look, I don't even really know who you are. I don't know who they are. Listen, if you don't kill me, I'll tell you whatever you want to know about her, not that it really matters, about, I don't even really know. I don't have anything else to offer. I'm just asking. I'm Rudolph, he says, taking up his hand to shake Alexi's.
I holster my gun. Do I do it?
Please don't.
What, shake his hand or kill him?
He has to not be shot.
I
True.
have a knife.
That's true. There are also people watching this, but yeah.
Please don't.
So,
I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be, like, unjustified, but they'd just be like, okay, that guy's maybe a little much, but...
I'm Alexi. No,
You shake his hand, or just let it hang there?
It's up to these fine people to decide what to do with you, not me.
He turns and looks to whoever's nearest. They kind of turn away, and like it's not their decision. Like, I don't know.
Go get your leader. Tell him there's a survivor.
All right. A couple of them head off. Dalkov, actually, the boy, runs off. Says, I'll tell him. Starts sprinting across the field. And a moment later, he returns with Arbano, who stands over him, arms crossed. So this is one of the people that tried to blow up our village?
Yes.
He looks down. Well, welcome to Devia. Kind of gives him a nudge with his boot. Not hard, but... And you see Rudolph wince a bit. He says, thanks, I guess. And he says, why exactly were you trying to kill us all? He says, trying to get them.
He's one of the band of peoples I mentioned that we came across. He was from which group I mentioned previously. And then I mentioned which group he was from previously and their handiworks as we went through their area.
He says, my people said that you shot at them first. So you decided to come here after you lost? He says, I suppose so. Can you really blame us? You wouldn't do the same? And,
Oh, you just had 3 psychopaths.
yeah. And Arbano says, well, I guess I can give you that. What do you have to offer to us? Because I'm really not seeing very much besides a bruised up boy with no weapons and no food and no medicine. And he says, I know things. I can tell you. And he says, like what? Depends what you have to ask.
What? Use your question.
Arbano turns. Is Ivan nearby, or is he just like off watching from afar, or Antonov?
It's probably just
I'm
nearest.
nearby now, but
Okay.
It's probably
because
the nearest
he is, I know his
pattern.
he'll hair trigger at
Throw
something,
flat
and
over
somebody
it.
needs to stop him once he's doing that. Because if he hair triggers at somebody we need to protect, it'll be a mess.
Yeah. So he turns to Antonov and says, what do you think, Antonov? Should we let him live, or should we leave him here?
So,
Leaving him here is just saying of death. It's better to die fighting.
okay, even if that's true, the question is not, if we're bringing him in, he needs to have a useful skill, so it's worth feeding him.
Yes.
So, the question is not,
Oh, he's cleaning up
is like,
fighting, or
if you
riding a
have
motorcycle.
useful skills, which you just said you did, then the useful skills must be equal to the food we're going to have to provide you until you can get better.
Alternatively, we can just use all his skills until he dies from not eating.
That's true, too. Rudolph nods along, dazed, agreeing with you because it sounds like you're saying to spare his life. You think he understands what you're saying, but he's just having trouble keeping up with all the words because...
So, to clarify, if he's got a skill that we need, that's worth the food we're going to give him, then we'll keep him, feed him, and put him to work. If he doesn't have a skill, but we could teach him a skill and it's worth feeding him over that, then we can keep him and feed him and teach him. But if he doesn't have a skill, and we can't teach him a skill, and he's stuck like this, then it'll just be a drain on our food. And we can't risk it for that if it's just a drain on our food.
Arbano nods.
Does that make sense, sir?
Antonov is very wise. Well, he says, looking down at Rudolph, he says, I knew that city in and out. At least the parts I scavenged for stuff in.
We need building supplies. Firewood.
Firewood.
What do we do about the bridge?
It's more than one
There's
bridge.
more than one way in.
I knew how to sneak around in there, silence a mouse. Stayed out of the way of the dogs, because if you didn't...
Uh,
Those
10
things.
shots left.
You want firewood? You want to drag firewood out of there.
And building supplies.
One log at a time.
That's what
I'm
that's
gonna
right
get a
there.
truck.
You want to bring a truck in there. Well,
Just need the dogs.
I suppose you got back here somehow. And you came here on foot. You know, you did have one of our trucks when you left. We never used them. The guns made too much noise and the engines drew in every wolf for, well, a mile. Yeah. That usually worked.
I need some metal.
What for?
I'm gonna put some spikes and blades in the truck.
Well, the wolves has spikes and blades all over them themselves. Wait till you get one stuck in your tire. Ah, he leans forward suddenly in pain as if he's overexerted himself merely talking. Says, I don't think I'm going to be as sneaky as I used to be.
I find that few people are as sneaky as they think they are.
What's for yourself?
Want to try me, he says. He sits up a little bit, and then suddenly,
Mostly due to the fact that the stealth fails at the most at opportune times. So,
well, if anyone could sneak around the city, it was her. But she stopped doing that after, well, it's a long story. Anyway, I don't know how I'm going to help you. He tries to stand up.
Yeah, I'm
Don't
not quite sure.
Kill me. I'm not trying to fight or
I
anything.
really don't think you'd be trying to in your condition. It would be rather comical if you
You
did.
want to spare him, right?
I think that's the plan.
Arbano
Yes.
nods. I see no reason to kill him if he has useful information.
Still.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna pick him up.
Okay.
It's unpleasant, but
He kind of puts an arm and says, I can walk a little bit.
you obviously can't.
He can kind of limp along now that he's standing, but yeah. He needs like
Faster to
support.
carry you.
Just don't drop me. It'll probably be the end. So where do you carry him? Infirmary?
Yeah, I think that's where it is.
Yeah. So you bring him in, and his eyes widen upon spotting her. What?
I gotta, like, sidle up next to him and catch Raven's eyes and just...
She just looks back at you with a little bit of contempt and then pure contempt when looking at Alexei. But she remains silent.
the little girl only liked me then.
Hmm?
The girl only liked me then.
She liked Ivan the most out of the three of you, and then Antonov, and then way, 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 way down Alexei.
Shouldn't have shot at me. I won't kill you. I would wish you were dead.
Yeah.
Oh, let's keep working for that mirror, shall we?
So you lay him down there, and he stares at her, and then back to you, but remains silent. Although, you get the sense that he may not remain silent for long.
You can talk all you want to, when it wasn't.
Well, her, but yeah, there's not
She's
exactly a lot
forced
she
to
can do. Huh?
Drag
I'm
yourself
looking at-
over there and strangle him if you don't like what he say.
Any broken
Ivan.
bones?
That's not a good suggestion.
Any broken bones?
Just bruised.
I don't know.
Oh, well, we're going to find out. Gotta get there and look at those bones.
Maria walks in. What is this?
So one of the bandits survived and asked for lenience.
Oh. Well,
I was about to see if he had any broken bones.
I'll check for that. She begins to examine. Well, I don't know if... Well, definitely a crack. And a few bruises on the bone here and there. Nothing permanent, though. More than can be said for... Well, anyway. I'll do my best to fix him up.
Probably putting him to use. It seems to
Oh.
know the city.
The city. So you're going back there.
There's supplies in there still. Wasn't just medicine.
Wow. I hate to see. I just hope you make it back. Emil was sitting on a chair nearby, probably, or something, being, given some medicine at least. Painkiller, maybe. You came back, well, mostly in one piece.
Good if it's not bad.
I just hate to have more work made for myself.
We came back with one full.
Tell you what,
unharmed body.
we won't get hurt. We'll just get killed. We don't have any work to do.
Okay, that's not what I meant.
My
I'll look
man's
over-
gonna die.
What's your name? He says, Rudolph, ma'am, as if it will help his case. She says, oh, Rudolph, nice to meet you, I suppose. Let me see what I can do for your injuries. She walks off. So what do you guys do then?
Stuff sharpened. We don't have anywhere else to pick on. I'm gonna go make sure no one gives me any dirty looks. Just gonna go somewhere else.
So as you start to leave, you hear a female voice from behind you. So what now?
That's a good question.
Brought me back here.
Try to fix you up.
Try to fix me up. She seems almost on the verge of laughter, but closer to tears perhaps.
Well,
Try to fix me up.
you're injured still, and
Did you tell her exactly? I believe you did eventually tell her exactly what you'd done, or what he had done.
Don't blame us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You cannot chain a wild dog.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can. That's what chains are for.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
Alexei,
I think you did. At least explain
can
it.
I at least ask if you're going to stab bad people to make sure they stay dead?
If they're dead, they can't regret their decisions. This is what I was taught as a child.
Yes. I don't need them to regret their decisions. I just need less bad people in the world.
Less bad people. You show a force so powerful that no one resists.
Well, so
I didn't torment you. I didn't talk to you at all.
No, you did not. But you did shoot at me.
Well, there was a lot of shooting going on.
Ah, but you shot at me.
Yeah.
Rivet, fret not. Rudolph here is going to help us back into the city as soon as he's back on his feet.
And why does that help me?
Who knows what we can find in there?
Books.
Something to fix
Maybe.
spine?
It's possible. No harm in looking.
Look, I'm no doctor, but
No, neither am I. I was going to check Rudolph's bones by opening up his flesh.
anyway. You see the affection that had been maybe building for you at least, out of someone to, not hate, suddenly drain out of her eyes.
We're gonna get this. We're gonna make this right, one way or the other. If I have to cut off Alexei's fingers, then so be it.
She shakes her head. And you called me a bandit?
Oh no, I was raised to be much worse.
I can tell.
And this is what I have to deal with. The only thing worse is stairs.
Hey, you killed the only family I knew. They were trying to kill us, but
The pack? Those things with family?
Yeah.
And I'm the one that's messed up.
Yeah.
Can we?
Listen. I
I was
kept
the
you for a
nice one.
reason.
That was a-
Nice one?
They had us for it.
There were 4 like you?
The were. They were not ready for us.
Daddy wasn't nice.
Anyways, you were saying before Alexei goes off on another rant of madness.
I was saying, really, I'm not deaf. I heard what she was saying. It's just gonna get worse. It hurts already. And it's going to kill me.
Yeah, with
attitude really matters.
I just when I read something about that. Positive attitude helps or something.
Yeah, positive attitude slows bad things down and helps you repair things.
Not from whatever itises she was muttering about under her breath.
Okay, so what do you want us to do? Sit here and watch you suffer? Or try to fix it?
No, you could try to fix it. There's really no way to. You're probably better off. Her voice sort of trails off as if she can't continue. Never mind. Just leave, she says angrily, while lying in a bed, pretty much unable to move anything but her arms.
Very defeated.
Yeah.
My arms is two things that I could have taken away as well, Lee.
True. That's true. That's true. You could have gone a little higher and that would have been everything, but yeah.
Just think about that, Lee.
That's true.
So, I forget the name of the doctor.
Maria's wife. Yeah. What about her?
Dr. Owen's ribbons. Done.
Okay, so she's in the other room. She's mixing up some kind of poultice kind of thing with some herbs in a bowl or whatever. And, it's not much, but what my mother taught me.
So where do
Half
we
of
look?
it works, and what?
Where do we look for a miracle?
She sighs. Well, they're the kind of drugs that she would need. If they weren't in that hospital, I can't think of many places there would be.
Manufacturing plant for one.
Emil might know. He knew his way around.
Can we check with him?
He might.
She's understandably upset at the moment, but...
Well, I don't blame her.
I said understandably.
Said a bullet hit her.
Sounds like Sharp must have. Unless that injury just appeared spontaneously.
Didn't look like a bullet hole when I looked at it, but... Well... I suppose if it grazed her, but even then it should be wider. I didn't look very carefully because, well, she already had an infection. Did you stitch her back up afterward?
I cleaned the wound and
Okay.
was careful.
Alright.
And cleaned the knife and
Yeah.
burned it.
Yeah.
So it's still possible to get infection happens.
Yeah.
So we'll need somebody to take care of the infection, otherwise this is a lost cause.
Yes. I know Emil had mentioned places, I think, before. I don't know, they don't really have medicine usually, but they're far, much farther than the city. I mean,
What do they usually have if not medicine? What are these places?
guns,
Nothing
slaves, pets. I don't know.
Help us.
Look, it was him and it was the scout before him who is no longer with us, so that should give you an idea of what to expect. And really, I would say she has a couple of weeks to live.
Well, if that's what it takes to get a miracle.
We can get started.
Well.
I guess.
It's very sweet of you to care so much about her. She was with the people in the hospital.
She was more understandable.
Oh. Well, that was merciful of you, I guess, for being very merciful today. And of course it all falls on old Maria to take care of, but...
Well, if you want one less mouth to take care of. Say
No,
the word.
no, of course not. I'm merely complaining. It's just part of my,
Charm.
I suppose. Anyway, really, the way you could help me the most is by clearing out of here so I can work. It's
Of course.
a bit cramped, but thank you for bringing, really, if it weren't for that, I feel we would lose, well, I can think of at least a few people that wouldn't make it through the winter. Anyway.
I just need to ask Rudolph one more question before we leave.
Of course. Alright, so you go back into the room where he is, and he looks at you.
Pop quiz. Where did you get the medicine? Was it always in the hospital? Or did you gather it from elsewhere?
Well, most of it was there, but some stuff they didn't have, and sometimes people went out and traded for it.
Not the answer I was hoping for. Oh well.
Well, they went quite a long ways.
How far? Do you know where? There, actually, Ribbit, if you can answer this one.
She looks at you. Answer what?
We're looking for the source of the medicine that was in the hospital.
Well, most of it was in the hospital.
But not all of it.
No, there were... There were a couple of people that went out and traded for things. They didn't tell me where, but there was a place with... It was like a bazaar. They told me all sorts of things were sold there. It wasn't a pleasant place. Why? What you took from us wasn't enough?
No.
You're going to need a lot more medicine than what we gathered.
Me? So seriously, well... I don't understand.
Well, I don't. We can speak for these two.
Alright, well, thank you. I guess.
Infection's a lousy way to go. Let's make sure it doesn't happen.
Alright. She seems like she has no idea what to say. One of you ruined her life, the other one's trying to fix it now.
And one thing is not when it's called hell or high water, this will be done.
Emil is limping around a little bit, probably nearby.
Feeling a little better?
He nods.
We're going to go try to find the source of more medicine. And hopefully find this from some miracle while we're at it.
Where are you going to look for more medicine?
Apparently there was a place that people would trade.
Oh. Maybe you're thinking of Helt's trading post.
Sounds like a good place to start as any.
I only went there once. Nasty place.
Sounds like right up our alley.
I might be able to give you a map. Get you there.
Like, just kind of like hold out an arm so you can link with help.
He accepts and can lead you. His quarters, I think, were pretty close to the center since he was such a trusted,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Where do you live, helicopter?
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty much like a narco-communist kind of thing of whatever, but he got a slightly bigger hut of sheet metal and rod for his work.
I live in the down helicopter. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a house without any stairs.
Yes.
I'm going to put you in a house with stairs to see if you get back down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fortunately, the radio station was after the was put in with an accessible ramp.
I don't know, that has a ladder. It doesn't, I don't have a problem with ladders.
It's not afraid of
Yeah.
heights, just
Yeah.
stairs.
Yeah. Well, no, just to get into the radio station to talk to people, to because I mean, the concrete outside is kind of cracked and crumbled at this point, but
You guys, okay, so, time out.
yeah.
Lou's done it like 10:30 or something. You guys want to just play till around then and I'll go pick Lou up?
That sounds good, yeah. Alright, so, anyway, so he leads you there and, gives you the map, and I don't want to roleplay David's character too much for him. Unless David is, like, done with, okay.
Lou's dead to me.
Yeah. I don't know if you wanted to, like, keep Emil as, like, a backup character or something, I don't know.
Alexei dies, then I have an idea.
Okay.
Oh, well, that is... Yeah, let's go!
Yeah, burn it. No, it is heavy weapon.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Good luck rolling high enough to actually kill me. Because Berserker.
True.
But anyway, so he hands you a map, and
I
it's
have graduated from the school and will just run you over with a car.
yeah. So he hands you a very roughly drawn map. It looks like it's like a sheet of like printer paper basically that's been kept inside of like a kind of a bag to protect it or rolled up, and it's like a role-playing game character sheet you've had for many years. It's been taken out, written on, stuff's been added to it. Some of the notes are like illegible, but the roads are, I mean, you can tell just from the scale of it, from the places that you guys have gone, that the city for example, is much like closer than it should be, and like other distances, there's stuff that like is so close that you should be able to see it if you could see the city, but you can't. Other cities, for example, that
The
sort of
map's
thing.
not to scale.
It's not to scale, but it is at least. I mean, it's got some like how many hours of riding it takes to get there,
Okay.
and that sort of thing.
So it's trading post.
Yes, belongs to a woman named Pelt. I didn't meet her for more than a few seconds. She's got an eye patch. That's all I remember about her. No crossovers.
Actually, maybe. Every player lies.
Yeah.
Did you think she was part dinosaur?
Not yet.
Wait, what? Emil, if you said that to me,
No.
Yeah.
I mean, we're making the Nathan jokes right now.
Yeah. Yes, there you can find, well, all sorts of things to sell. It's a bit deeper into, well, it's all wilderness now, isn't it? I would say if you go there, make sure you have enough gas, and make sure your vehicle's well maintained.
So you have an exit plan.
It's gonna be a long walk back.
Well, let me put it this way. That far out, your vehicle breaks down, pulls out his... I think he had do you think he had his pistol for his sidearm?
He had a sawed-off shotgun.
Okay. He pulls up his sawed-off shotgun and then, this is your exit plan. Either that, or that. You don't want the dogs to eat you.
I wonder how many I could take down if they finally got to me.
6.
Your arms aren't protected from the dogs, by the way. I'll let you wait there. They'll grapple you, by the way. They'll bite. They won't get through your armor. But
I'm just curious.
You can take down a few more just guns so you can kill them before he gets surrounded.
They'll pull it off eventually. It'll take a while, but trust me, you'll want it to be over quick.
I suppose that's true.
Anyway,
The dog's meat's not edible, is it?
never tried. I don't know. Yeah. It was kind of
There's
a...
one way to find out, really.
Yeah.
Hey, Rudolph!
He might know.
we're not in the hospital anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
Could be a use for him.
I mean, the dogs did live in this. They were fairly ubiquitous. I mean, you guys didn't have a problem with them out here, but. And of course, he says, and there are other things out there. All sorts of strange things. Normally just got a glimpse of them. If you go out there, well, if I was in any condition, I'd go with you, but. Still will if you really want me to.
Just tell us where to go. Get some rest.
Well, the map will tell you. He points to where Pelt, in like quotes with a question mark, trading post, bazaar, and then there's a list of weapons and stuff that can be bought there.
He has a 4-shot sawed-off double-barrel shotgun.
Yeah, I recall there was alternating. There was like
Yeah,
alternating buckshot and
he had-
slugs.
Yeah, buckshot, slug.
Yeah. I mean, So yeah, I think that's
Not
stuff.
double-barrel, but just sawed-off.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll get some more rest. Do you help him back to the?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Oh, good news. We have a lead.
Saying that to.
Ribbit if she's in the center.
Oh, yeah. A lead.
Trading post, where it's possible someone might know more about something to help with this problem.
Don't understand.
That was Russian, right?
Is Alexi here too?
Apparently.
Okay. Depends. It's up to you if Alexi's
Yeah,
going back.
whoever I'm trying, Emil then.
Okay.
It was Russian, right?
Okay. Well, it's up to Alexi if Alexi is coming back with Ivan.
No.
Okay. And okay. In that case, she says, points. He did this to me,
Yes, he did.
and now you're trying to fix it.
Yes.
I don't get it.
Well, I didn't do it to you, did I?
I don't know why you keep him alive.
It's useful to fight. As soon as that stops being an issue, We'll make like the French.
I didn't read very much about the French.
Off with his head. They were good at that for a while.
She nods as if you're all crazy people, which
We are all
isn't
crazy
wrong.
people.
Okay.
It's gonna twitch ever so slightly because, you know, it's constant.
You have actually twitching as a thing? On your
Habit minor.
So she leans her head back and looks out the kind of dusted, clouded over window and becomes silent.
We'll have to work fast, so. Wish us luck.
Good luck. So by this point, it's probably getting to be mid to late afternoon. People are starting to finish their day's work, bringing in. I mean, there are trees here and there, quite distant. They're bringing them back on wooden sleds. Firewood, not enough for the winter to keep warm, but enough maybe to keep alive. Of course, if people are too consumptive of it, or really any kind of winter storm gets too bad. I mean, you guys are in Russia, not like Siberia, but like
Russia's not known for its warmth.
yeah. So
Russia's not known for its temperance.
no. And from the farms nearby, the fields nearby, people are bringing in baskets of what little left of harvest is still around, and bringing it into the grain house or food
Yeah.
stores.
Gather everybody furniture we're not using too. And then, no Russian. But we are.
Putting stacks of various, old wooden boxes, look like drawers that once belonged to dressers that are no more. Really, any container that could hold things and stop them from rolling around has been repurposed for harvesting. There's some old worn cloth sacks that have been stuffed and refilled a dozen times, bulging full in piles outside the
Antonov has been
granary.
pulling in stacks once the that Dunkerhead was diffused.
Yeah.
He went back for bringing firewood.
Okay.
So,
So you're helping carry some back as well. What is your strength anyway? Like D8 or
D6.
D6? Okay.
So I have average strength, but
Yeah. So you're still decently strong. And everyone's
pretty huge muscles.
yeah. And pretty much everyone's decently strong after, pretty much all that life is here is firewood and farming and getting water from the stream a ways away. So yeah. So after the carts and such are set down,
Well, Alexa, we're gonna try to undo your little whatever we're calling that. Yeah, I'm aware. Should probably let who's in charge again?
Arbano.
Arbana.
Dalkov, the boy, runs up to you suddenly. I heard you guys caught one of them alive. Well, I was there, but I heard you're keeping him alive.
For now.
For now.
Well, one more mouth to feed.
Oh, but he's a bandit from the city, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got all sorts of stories.
Could have useful information, yeah.
I wouldn't go off talking to him alone.
Why?
Who knows what I'll tell you. Get inside that not of yours.
Like what? Something I'm not supposed to know.
All sorts of things you're not supposed to know.
You'll be brainwashed.
All right.
that's not true necessarily. He's from the city. He's seen all the bad things in the city, so he.
Dalkov's from the village.
Yes.
Was born in the village.
Yes.
But
So
yeah.
there was monsters in the city, and so he could speak of the vile things the monsters have done.
All right. I won't talk to him. Then he says, shaking his head.
Not yet. We've seen a lot.
You get the sense that he might want to talk to him.
You'll be brainwashed.
Alexei, who's not going to be brainwashed by that?
All strangers brainwash you.
No, they don't.
Um,
Was I not a stranger the first time I met you?
Saying I've done better things since I met you guys, so.
have you? I've done one bad thing. Really bad.
Been better.
All right. I won't let him brainwash me. You know what? I won't talk to him at all. I'll go eat my supper. Right.
That's a good idea.
Okay. He turns and runs off, looks over his shoulder once and then keeps going.
So I
Seems like he's heading home, not toward,
I head to Arvana.
Okay. So you find him in his office. He's reading at this point. The wine bottle is tucked away and the wine glass is empty with nothing but
I
a
join.
rim
I
of
join.
dry wine.
I join.
I knock on the door.
Okay, so he's come in, and when you open it, you find him as such, and he looks up from his book. Hello, again.
This is short notice.
Yes, well, like I say, my door is always open except when it's closed, and then it's sort of open. You're always welcome.
Thank you. Very few people around here have that sentiment. But we need to go.
Me?
Myself, Alexei, and
Oh, well, that's more descriptive then. You need to go.
So
Is there more you can tell me?
Ivan, no, Antonov wants to go. No,
I'm Ivan.
Ivan
You were
wants to.
Antonov.
Ivan. Pretend that 500 didn't happen in the conversation.
Yeah.
Antonov wants to go to a market to get the medicine that
Ribbit needs.
Ribbit needs.
The girl.
Yes.
He's got a very
'Cause-
serious infection, apparently.
And
No.
The medicine we brought isn't going to cover it.
All that way just for her?
so I was thinking that we could pull double duty here. We use the truck, or we prepare it and make sure it's well maintained, and we bring stuff that we don't need and we can trade, and see what other things we can bring back.
I was hoping to save that gas for winter, but if you can bring back firewood, that'd be better than, well, what little we get, plus the fumes. If we're burning gasoline for heat, the way that we would be able to.
Makes it hard to breathe. Makes everything a little funny.
Well, we do have the generator, but if you can bring back something better, you can bring back more gasoline.
There's a trading post out there. Who
Really.
knows what we got?
I have heard of that. I believe Emil mentioned it once.
Pelts.
Yeah, didn't remember the name.
Figure we should just run out.
Well, it's good of you to tell me, otherwise I would have had people looking for you.
That's not a waste of effort. So,
If you're going all the way there, yes, it would have been.
so we're going to see if we can get what we need to. A little miracle.
Well, I'd be a hypocrite to say no. I sent you into the city. Look how that turned out.
Fairly well.
Overall, yes. I'll tell that to poor Emil.
True. Didn't work out perfectly, but the overall result.
This would
Everybody
be,
lives.
This would be further. This would be past the lake, probably. I don't know. I haven't left this village in so long. It's more than a full-time job to keep this place running. I've been reading storage techniques. Very valuable book. Old way that they used to do it, and now we must do again. If you manage to drag back an entire warehouse, that would be nice. It certainly keeps things drier and cleaner than what we have now. But yes, anything you can bring to, although I hate to give weapons to others given how that just worked.
Okay, genius.
Okay.
I want to make sure he... I've been banging on all cylinders here.
Yeah.
Bring back a warehouse. Not possible. But perhaps with a convoy. We can bring back the supplies.
Yeah.
Who's to say what else is out there? Also, I'm not done with fours. There we go.
Alright, you
That
got a
was-
14. That's
Yeah.
that's impressive.
For D4 smarts.
Yeah.
A dumb Tiffany.
Well, I approve of your trip then. So who's going?
Myself, Alexei, Antonov.
Alright. Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Although I talked to my wife, and that girl's condition seems rather dire. She said a couple of weeks.
So we're gonna go quick.
Hopefully you'll make it back. It's not far, but the roads aren't what they were. And, well, never been to this pelts trading post.
Can it be more, as an out of character thing, can it be more awful than what we've heard?
It could be, yeah. Certainly has been talked up as a nasty place. I mean, anywhere that has, caged demon wolves for sale, slaves for sale, guns for sale, whatever else for sale.
Slaves for sale. We could use the meat.
Yeah, I'm familiar with your way of thinking, but the NPCs are not. Yeah.
It's like a lunchbox that carries itself until you need it.
And you're
Just like
taking
pigs.
the truck,
If we could.
the pickup truck. Well,
We hit the bomb.
you
Why would
could
that
take.
could be rather valuable? No, that could actually be a very valuable piece of trade, and we're not going to use it.
I'd hate to see it eventually used against us again, but well, if you
We
did it
won't
once,
tell anyone where we're from.
good idea.
I was just saying where I'm from. Up there.
That motorcycle Emil had. Doesn't sound like you made it back with it then. If you had to,
We had to abandon.
We left it at the bridge, I think.
Let's go get it.
that used a lot less gas than that truck probably would. But then again, you'll need the truck, so
We need to transport quite a few goods if this goes successfully.
you might be able to trade for a truck. I don't know what kind of vehicles are there. They're few and far between. We're probably the richest.
Does this world have a currency?
Not
Or is it
really.
just trading?
It's just barter, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, some old codgers may still use rupees,
Yeah.
but
Rubles. But yeah, rupees is India. But yeah, rubles. Yeah, they might.
I'm making a Zelda reference. That was Zelda reference, I don't
Oh, there's rupees in Zelda.
Yeah, that's what the
Okay.
gems are that you buy and trade with.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. So Zelda really takes place in an LSD infused India. Interesting.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. That's the only link to reality you have left. Right.
No, you want LSD, you play Link's Awakening or Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
The trippiest Zelda games.
Yeah. I watched a friend play them. Anyway, he says,
I'm
alright.
sorry, the moon has a giant face on it and is coming to destroy the world. Welcome to Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
You have 3 days to live.
Yeah. That actually sounds like a D&D adventure. Anyway, he says, yeah, he's fine with you going. He says, well, whatever you need to bring with you, bring along, I suppose.
We should be able to
I-
with our own supplies.
Everyone around here recognizes you, maybe not with authority, but, well, authority. Yeah. Tell them that whatever of those bandits' guns and whatever else they had you want to take to trade, I give you my permission. We have plenty of, well, we have at least enough ammunition here.
Some weapons, some ammunition to trade, but the rest should stay here.
Alright. I don't know what else of value we really have. We have our library, but I'd hate to part with it.
The library's more valuable to us than it is to them.
You want me to part of my Barrett, don't you?
Barrett?
No.
I mean that.
No reason.
Oh. Guess you could sell me off, then I could keep escaping.
Actually, that would work really well.
Is it really wrong to sell someone into slavery when you know that he's going to kill the slavers and escape without any problem? I mean, I don't know. You might run
I
into.
couldn't hear it. We bound you. Yes, but I still have my teeth.
All right.
Daytime's right!
Well,
You know, I,
I wish you the best of luck. Going at least twice as far to the city and probably through more dangerous places. I'll keep you in my prayers until you come back, and if you don't, then I'll really keep you in my prayers.
if I don't come back, just leave my headstone by the helicopter. It's the only place I know.
That sounds fair.
We're probably coming back. Most of us.
I hope so.
For most of us.
I hope I see you back here within a week.
We'll aim for that.
All right. And hopefully all of you, not most of you.
We'll see. No promises.
Of course.
But we'll do our best.
He reaches down and says, leaving in the morning?
Ideally.
thumps the wine ball on the table. Might be the last drink you ever have. I doubt you'll want to drink what they have at that trading post.
Yeah,
to
you
get
don't
into
drink
it.
anything offered at that place.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a good point. He pulls out and says, I only have 3 left.
No.
2? It might be worth something.
If you're really willing to part with it.
Well, I don't need to have wine. And we will need medicine. We will need firewood, materials, anything.
Try to part with the Barrett. It's pretty expensive.
It's for the village.
It is.
Alright. He reaches down for some cloth and pulls it out of the box he's keeping it and wraps it around. That'll be my contribution.
We'll pick it up in the morning.
Alright. For now, though, he pulls the cork and pours some for all of you. And offers it to you and banters with you about whatever for a while. Till eventually the candles burn low and he says, I really should be getting to sleep. And you should be preparing for your
Rather fun journey.
journey. That's right. I think I had a little much. Anyway, let me. He tries to.
I'm fine.
All right.
How much? What is it? Is there a vigor?
Yeah, it's up to you how much you drank, but he offers you as much as he did. It was probably like 3 glasses, 4 glasses.
I get a 5.
All right.
I don't know how many I have to do, but
He-
I didn't.
Pinches at the candles, and then finally gets it, and then he starts
You
for
don't
the other one.
pinch those. I just.
Oh, I always like to pinch them.
It's fun.
Maybe I shouldn't be around fire right now. He stretches out.
Fingers first. Yes, you have very, very serious calluses.
He groans. Oh, Maria will be so pissed at me again. He stands up and bumps his chair against the wall and walks out of the room and holds a hand. No, I got it. Before anyone can even offer him help.
Good night.
He doesn't usually get drunk like that, but, you know. Good night, Ivan. Good night, Alexa. Good night, Andrew. Antonov. Good night.
Drunk people are the best.
He bumps open the door and closes it behind him and heads up here, stomping off to his bedroom. He lives here, yeah, tucked in the
but
back.
he doesn't live in this room.
Yeah.
I will be in the chopper. Night, everyone.
I'll be at my place.
I'll be in my trunk.
Fortunately, it is not Antonov's watch tonight, which he knew, so that's why if he wanted to indulge in alcohol, he could have. But yeah. So you all go to sleep, and the next morning you awaken.
Done my armor. I get the feeling like it doesn't like me anymore. I don't want.
These things happen.
It's not that she doesn't like you, she just doesn't understand.
But what will she
Yeah.
do when she finds out that Alexa butchered an entire camp to get the cure?
The post-apocalyptic wasteland version of bringing someone flowers.
Yeah.
You're all paralyzed now.
Yeah.
I like how Antonov is trying to keep the party together and is trying to be the only sane man, and he's got bullet magnets, so he's gonna be shot down one of these days.
Yeah.
Ivan's not that insane. He's just like, I will fight.
You'll only be
anything.
shot while someone is trying to stab you. That's the funny part. It's kind of a weird hindrance, but it's interesting.
It's from the horror world, right?
Yeah.
The other thing it does is that if somebody shoot a random person, it has to be me.
Yeah.
So, whenever, like, auto fire and random bystander comes up, it hits him.
Yeah. Well, and if he, I think it brings up the number for innocent bystander normally with him from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 if it's automatic fire. So basically, if someone shoots at him, someone he's in melee with and misses, they hit him. But yeah. So it's interesting. It's kind of a weird hindrance because it's like, okay, but you're just cursed. Like, lame is something you're bad at, but bullet magnet is just like, you're clumsy, but you're not clumsy, you're
No.
just unlucky.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
It's unlucky without taking unlucky.
Yeah. Oh my god, a Hitler fish. That's funny.
What?
I'll have to search that later.
Oh,
You guys saw the Hitler's D&D character dies, right?
no.
All right, we're not watching it now, but we'll watch. I'll remember. We'll watch it after. All right, that has to be watched. So by the time that's up, it's nighttime, but people are still, a few people are up and about. There's some people clustered around fires. You can hear the soft, gentle chords of a guitar being played softly, so as not to wake the people who are trying to sleep. And out past the edge of the camp, against the mostly dark sky, actually getting very dark, you can see the silhouettes of the night watchmen on patrol around the village perimeter. You can smell a bit of smoke in the air, but other than that, it's a fairly pleasant night. And people are still awake enough. You probably could gather your supplies if you wish.
That's kind of what we need.
Alright, so you guys probably have half a dozen AK-47s and plenty of ammo to bring with you to trade. You have the bottle of wine from Arbano in the truck. You can find some containers to put it in. Anything else that you're...
Containers and rolls and cloth rolls. Probably need blankets and stuff like that for the road.
Yeah. They are loath to part with blankets, but fortunately they are not too
we have
rare.
our own.
Yeah, that's true. You don't need to leave your...
Yeah, stick.
And I assume the bandits probably brought something, assuming they survived.
There's not a whole... They weren't on like a suicide mission, but I think they kind of figured...
Not all of us are coming back.
Yeah. I mean, they
They saw what we did.
yeah. I mean, they have some canned food and backpacks and stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
backpacks, absolutely.
yeah.
I'm gonna take a backpack for myself.
All right.
I already had one. It's filled with bullets.
Oh. Please don't ever...
In a nutshell.
That's pretty much Fallout, yeah. Backpack full of bullets. Just don't ever drop a Molotov cocktail like on yourself, because not only will you burn to death, you will also be shot while you're burning to death, and so will everyone nearby.
Alright. Let's go.
Alright. You guys go to sleep. Morning comes, you load up your truck, and after a fairly paltry breakfast, mostly like potatoes, bread, turnips.
Turnips.
Yeah,
I actually like turnips.
Really sweet.
turnips.
I think it would be
Bitter.
kind of sweet.
They're like in between sweet and bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're an enigma.
They
Um,
look kind of sweet.
That's not a look. These can't look sweet.
Cake looks sweet.
Stabbed you to death.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, cake is a rare occurrence here, for sure.
For like 10 minutes on the road, and Ivan just stabs at it.
So you've got
Looks sweet.
a few days of provisions for everyone, or you got a decent amount of provisions for everyone.
Sure, that's Freddy.
It looks like it'll be a couple days of driving to get there, because it is not that far, but also it's hard to go faster than like a certain distance without rattling your truck apart eventually. I mean, it's not that it's dirt road, it's that it's basically dirt road, and there's so many potholes to go around that you have to go about 20.
That's faster than walking.
Yep, by a lot.
And you don't get tired driving.
Yeah.
Well, you don't get physically tired, you might get bored.
Yeah. I think you get physically tired driving, but it's not the right. It's a very different kind of.
But like, if you drove for like 20
Yeah.
miles, you can get out and walk 7 miles without
Oh,
any
yeah.
problem.
Easily, yeah.
Getting kind of bored. This entire place erupts into flames.
Okay, so off we go.
All right. So a few people gather to bid you farewell.
I feel like if people knew the apocalypse was coming, they'd start printing out memes and storing them.
Yeah.
People.
I mean, I do have the animals printed out and put on my door. I don't know why I did. I just like I want to see this once in a while.
What exactly are aminals?
Enmeals are tiny people like you and me.
So Dalkov is one of the ones that comes out to say goodbye to you. You're going back. The boy.
Right, right.
Yeah. You're going again.
Got work to do. No rest for the wicked.
Oh. I guess you are wicked, I suppose. I kept my promise.
Didn't talk to him?
No, I'm not going to. But you have to promise you'll tell me stories about him. Or whatever. Whatever happened with you in the city when you get back. I asked my father, well, he's not really my father, but
Close enough.
I asked him and he won't really tell me anything. Don't tell him I said he wasn't really my father.
Not my dad, I'm gonna say.
It's gonna be like, okay, about to roll.
He'll tell me stories about it when you come back.
So we make it.
I hope you do.
I do too. Not planning on dying, but stuff happens.
That's cool armor, he says, poking at it.
Mm.
You didn't have that before.
No, I got it from bandits. They
Oh.
didn't know how to use it correctly. Doesn't do much
That one,
against.
wear it.
They weren't wearing it.
Weren't they?
They were wearing it. Yeah, they were wearing them. They just got slaughtered by a giant thing.
Cleaving!
Yeah.
Yeah, I like most armors that are great against bullets, but not so much these.
Or this. Knife.
Well, hopefully you'll come back.
That is the hope. We'll do our best.
How big are those rotors normally?
Oh, these are the ones off the rear, like the balancing one, not like the.
Yeah.
But you could definitely make a claymore.
Yeah, it's like hang on, we're gonna fight. Let me pick up my sword first. Yeah.
It's like Monster Hunter style.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking like fold over.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like instead of being the full
Yeah.
length, it's half.
Glorious Japanese steel folded over 1,000,000 times.
Plus one mithril velociraptor. What?
That would be cool. Claw extensions.
One mithril velociraptor. What? So it was this hilarious thread of people like ranting about how X weapon was better than X, and someone pulls out like a
Oh,
plus
the
one
katanas
mithril.
are
Yes.
underpowered in D20.
Yeah. And then someone pulls out like a plus one mithril velociraptor.
Yeah.
It's just funny stuff on the internet.
You could definitely make that as a magic item, like the obsidian steed.
But it's like a mithril velociraptor. It just kills everyone.
I will remember
Pounds.
this. I will remember this. Anyway, so they wave goodbye to you, and you can all drive off along the bumpy road that leads toward what was once a, maybe not an interstate type highway, but at least a 2-lane highway leading through the plains and occasionally grassy, semi-forested hills.
I drive okay.
Alright, good. Alright. So you're able to control the vehicle. It's a bit slow. It's a little bit faster once you get on the road and turn, following the map, off in the other direction from the city to the northwest, sort of. And you begin along. And I don't know if Alexei had really ever been in a car before, since he kind of lived like in the city. Like
No, he'd definitely been in cars before.
he
was
drove, to
raised
drive.
to be a raider.
Yeah.
He was raised to be the raider of raiders.
All right. You had to get the driving skill somehow, so. So you're not surprised by how quickly the landscape changes compared to walking. And before long, you are quite a ways across the plains and coming to the ruins of a small town. There are abandoned houses you can find with looks like some kind of plastic sheeting covering up the windows. Places have been torn away. Most of the windows are broken. On occasion, you can catch the glint of one that's actually intact. In one place, you see what looks like a a deer, fairly recently dead with flies buzzing all around it. It's got huge slashes in it, and most of its entrails seem to be missing, as if it was most of the good parts were eaten. And you can see its rather pale sort of dead look on its face. Watching you as you drive by is a pleasant reminder that you are no longer in civilization, such as it is.
It makes a cross between the Wild Wild West cowboy sound and the desolate sound of a winter area.
Yeah.
I am remembering my survival game character who came out of the pants and became the best hunter.
Yeah.
Sneaks up on deer, pounces and bites out its throat with teeth. Brings back the body.
Oh my god.
Everyone was able to be dropped into this area with one thing. I chose pants.
I mean, that's not bad.
Everyone else is nude and I have pants. Who's the most awkward
Wasn't that
one?
when my brother and I's character killed each other over the pants because we had to leave? Yeah. So anyway, so you continue to drive on. At one point, the road is all but impassable, and you have to drive kind of on the sideline, which depends how carefully you do that. But roll a notice check, probably.
For him or just for everyone?
For everyone, honestly.
3.
This is
5.
Alright.
D6. I get a 3.
You spot some broken pieces of metal rebar that have just twisted out of shape and are sticking up in some places.
Across the road?
Off the side. The main road is like blocked. It's got a few rusted out shells of cars kind of stacked together in the way. There's some tires. Looks like it might have been a barricade at some point. There is an easy way around.
It is an easy way around, but that's where the rebar is.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 pieces of rebar lying in the tall grass. Not tall grass, but like decently high grass.
Alright, well, let's see if we can remove the rebar.
Alright. So it's just a matter of putting on the brakes, someone getting out and moving it out of the way.
Now take the rebar.
Alright. So you have 4 pieces of rebar, about a foot long each, but just 4 rebar pieces.
You want to know why? Crossbow.
Yeah. I was thinking like you're gonna heat him up and put him in a crossbow.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was playing Gmod with one of my friends back in high school.
Okay.
And we were just building basic forts and trying to shoot at each other.
Oh,
He made this super complex fort, like you could press a button and doors would slide open, you could shoot out.
So you skip the bolt off the ground to kill him.
I had barrels, that's all I had. Just
Yeah.
regular barrels and a crossbow. I bounced it off the ground, off the skybox, and into his head.
God. Oh my god.
I think it was like God with the crossbow.
You guys saw this stupid
Like there was one, like, you know that map where it's like level plane and there's that raised...
Flat grass,
that
yeah.
Flat grass, yeah.
Yeah.
There was this great time where he's chasing me, I just bounce it off the plate, the little raised thing,
Yeah.
and the leg dead.
Yep.
Just funk, did you?
I gotta play Gmod again. The memories of the Pedo Bear mod are finally falling out of my head so I can play again.
You get stuff ruined for you way too easily. And then
I mean, it wasn't ruined for me. Like, I was having a great time. It's just,
Then other things just not ruined for you.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike.
well, you know. So anyway, so you continue on at a slow pace, but at least not a very slow pace that
10:30 or
puncture tire presents.
10:20.
What time is it now?
9:44.
So you continue on, and eventually you pass out of the small town, which has been marked on the map by Alexi as being pretty much completely barren of really anything.
It has cover.
Yeah. But basically it seems like he's scavenged through the area fairly well. He also said no dogs is written on there, which you assume means none of the demon wolf creatures.
No, dogs!
Yeah.
Situation is everything.
Yeah. It's like, no, dogs. Yeah, don't go there, yeah. You feel like he would have worded things less cryptically, but
But it's real, so maybe not.
yeah. That's why he's addled in the leg, not the brain. you continue on and eventually draw out of the town and into kind of countryside again. And then here and there, there are
What time of day did we get to the town?
probably like about like half an hour of driving. So you've probably gone about 10 miles.
Okay, never mind. We're not staying there.
Yeah.
I'm sure he stayed there when trying to get back home, but missed it. Missed the timing.
Judging by the not to scale map, it feels like you're like a tenth of the way there. But then again, there's I mean, you know how real world places are laid out, and this was more of a relative location map. So
But he's a driver, so all the relative locations are
yeah.
for if you're driving from point A to point B.
Yeah, he marked this as like roughly 12 miles or 15 miles, which seems close, seems a little shorter than that, but you're not sure. The odometer is still working, so you could track if you want. I don't know how many miles have been in this truck anyway. So you continue onward a little ways, and you start to pass by here and there. The road is actually fairly intact. There are prongs of grass that stick up from it, and there are rocks here and there to steer around, but you're able to keep a fairly decent 20, 25, 30 miles an hour over most of it. You have to slow down occasionally to go around large holes, chunks of road that are missing washed out parts. At one point you come across what look like a couple of human bones potentially, but they're long gone, sun bleached, completely picked free of any meat or anything, or any probably even sign of what killed the person. Pass by abandoned gas stations that are long since destroyed. The area around one of them's blackened as if there may have been a gas explosion, or at least a large amount of gas burned off there at once. Here and there are very badly rusted out shells of cars to the point where they're all brown. The wheels are gone. Really anything besides the shell and the body of the car have been scavenged for parts to repair other vehicles. Some of them are crushed in. You can see claw marks on the sides of some, stains on others. And then as you are continuing to drive along, terrain begins to get a little bit more hilly and then flattens out again. And all of a sudden, there is a very loud thunk on the underside of the car. Something seems to have stuck in the transmission of it, and you hear a very loud grinding sound. Maybe something's caught up in the wheel well. You're not sure quite what.
I'm gonna make a notice roll just to see if anyone else is watching this location.
Okay, like from looking out the window.
Yes.
All right.
I get that's 15.
Okay, you spot. You don't spot anybody up on the hills nearby. You don't spot anybody in the what looks like a cottage nearby by the side of the road that looks like it may have been like a little shop or something like that. You're not sure what it is. You do, however, notice in the road ahead, obviously there's breaks in it everywhere, but here the potholes are not only more numerous, but they're not incidental, and they seem to be evenly spaced. Like, when things are random, they tend to cluster, but these look like they're spaced apart. Maybe not deliberately, like there's no pattern to them, but it looks like if somebody tried to do random placement, it would look like this.
Did we run over the first one?
If you look behind you, you think you can see a hole in the ground, and it looks like there's something trailing behind you. It looks long and braided almost.
We got something in our bottom of our car from that hole back there.
You begin to slow down?
Absolutely. Once you got hit, yeah.
All right. Well, as you begin to slow down, there is a very loud thump on the underside of the truck, and you feel it lift up several inches and then drop back down. And then you can feel the engine beginning to strain. Definitely feels like you may have popped a tire.
That's gonna make this difficult.
Do we have a spare tire?
Well, it looks like it might just need a patch. You do have like a repair kit in there thanks to Emil. Would have supplied you with one. And there is a spare tire in the back. You hear, as the truck begins to slow down, you feel another thump, and then you begin to see something slithering up the side of the truck. And that is where we shall leave it. Because I don't think we'll have enough time to get into the whole thing. Plus I need to draw the actual map so you guys have it. But you guys get, I don't know. We only played for a couple hours, but 1 XP each sounds good. Did roleplay and stuff. Good interim session.
I'll look up how much XP you're supposed to have.
I will look that up now. Because I have notes.